Hello, campers. Welcome back to the Business Broadcast. This is the podcast designed to help grow your business, and that's what we're going to do with Tom today. Tom Moore, in his own words, just wants more. And what he does is flip furniture. He wants to take this business from £30,000 a month to more. He's been going 3 to 9 years, and this is a business I think we can help. So strap yourselves in as we try and grow Tom Moore's business. Hello, JB. Welcome back to this here business broadcast.
It's going to be puns galore.
Puns galore with Tom Moore.
Tom Moore. There's more in store with Tom Moore. Yes.
His business is called tomflips.co.uk. What is it, JB?
Well, we first challenged Tom, and we'll talk to him about it when we bring him on air shortly. We couldn't find out what he did that easily because we went to tomflips.co.uk and couldn't find the website. So that's the first challenge. But I think he's got already a big online following, so people know where to find him, if that makes sense. But he flips furniture. Now there's a whole backstory which I don't know that much about, but we're going to find out. And he basically during the pandemic started flipping furniture.
See, on Instagram, let's have a little look. Tom Flips.
I bet he comes up on Insta.
32,000 followers.
Yes.
Yeah, he does flip furniture, yeah.
Super engaged audience. Yeah, so he flips furniture and sells it on for a profit. And he realised it was a good, profitable business. And then he decided he was going to teach other people to do it as well. So that's what he does. He's got estimated monthly revenues, 30,000 quid. He's got 5 team members. Biggest challenge, juggling 2 full-time businesses and letting go of certain tasks. I'm not great when it comes to outsourcing. I need to let go of certain roles to grow further. Challenge number 2, the next stage of growth and how to get there. Challenge number 3, finding the correct staff to take over from me in certain time-consuming areas of the business. We always ask, I guess, where do you want to be in 1 year's time? And he said, I want to have doubled revenue, multiple hustles offered within the Tom Flips community, member growth to exceed all other UK reselling groups, social media growth to be hugely increased. What does the business look like when it's finished? He said sustainable for years to come. So he hasn't got an exit strategy. He hasn't got a plan for the end goal. But he's, as we would say down south, in his world, he's having it off. In his world, he's doing all right. He's doing quite well within this community.
So he goes around, does house clearances?
I don't. I think he buys in bulk from other places, from like trade. I don't think it's like one-off. I don't think it's like the house clearance thing. I think it's sort of like multiple pieces at a time.
So he buys
like a drop shipping.
So it's new stuff that he buys in bulk.
I think so. We can find all of this out in time. That's what I think it is.
Okay.
Should we find out from him?
Let's find out. Well, hang on a sec.
I know, but we've got to find out. Tom, we're coming to you before we've done the other nonsense bits and pieces, which we're definitely going to do, guys. Don't switch off.
Yeah,
flipping furniture, is it the new stuff, the old stuff, or the in-between stuff? What do you flip?
And now all of it. So now new, ex-display and used. Mainly it is used items.
Okay, so you're finding it on like a Gumtree or an eBay, and you're
Gumtree. Does that still happen?
Gumtree, it's really big as Gumtree.
Right. Okay.
Is it places like Gumtree, eBay, Facebook Marketplace?
Marketplace, Gumtree. I've got contacts with new sofa manufacturers because a lot of them offer the service of taking their customers' old sofas away.
Okay.
House clearance companies, estate agents. There's quite a few ways. We've also created a AI sourcing bot which scrapes Facebook, Gumtree, eBay, and Nextdoor for items that have just come up in your area.
Okay, right. Thank you. Right, we're going to stick you back on mute. We're going to come back to you shortly.
Just quickly, can we ask him? Is
sorry.
the aim, Tom, to pick it up as part of the service, but not give any money for it?
So it depends on the return of the item. Obviously, the goal would be to get as many for free as possible. But the returns in a lot of it is just negotiating. That's the main thing.
And who do you negotiate with? Just out of
the general public.
Fine. And do you do all that, or do you have a team of negotiators?
I have a team now. Yeah.
Fine. Okay, we'll come back to you in a bit, mate.
Right, we'll carry on with all the other nonsense bits and pieces that we do. So there we go.
So he's flipping furniture.
Yeah, flipping good, isn't it?
Flipping fantastic.
Right, we're going to find out more about Tom and this.
I've got a good joke for you.
Go on.
I've been on my newsletters I put jokes. Have you read this week's newsletter?
No,
good. Yeah, because I can tell you the joke then. You can't trust.
What?
You can't trust atoms. They make up everything.
Very good. Ish. Cheers, Chuds.
Oh, Jim, I've got another one as well.
here
For
we go. Bloody hell.
this was on last week's newsletter, and I've had some lovely comments about this.
Come on.
I was trying to lose weight last year.
Right.
I found it very difficult. I've had a lot on my plate.
That one I do like. You can have a drum roll for that one. Well done, you. Right, before we chat more to Tom, there's a knock at the door.
Interesting
Start with
quote
this.
or fact. Interesting quote or fact. Interesting quote or fact. It's time for the interesting quote or
Fact of the week.
So Chuds has got a little job for us to do. Now, I did allude
What?
in previous episodes that we was going to have a little surprise go in on that segment on Interesting Facts
Right.
Quote of the Week. And I've just remembered what Chuds said that we should do.
Okay.
He said we should go to the audience and ask if anyone could make a graphic, an animation that could overlay on Interesting Facts Quote of the Week
What, well, that jingle plays.
while that jingle plays.
Someone, well, yeah, we
then
have
what
a
we're gonna do
creative
then?
bunch of listeners and watchers,
Yeah.
don't we, to be
Well,
fair?
even if you could recommend someone that you think that'd be very good in a reasonable priced car range. Reasonably priced car range. And if it's successful, I think we will then get one for every feature. So
Oh, sure.
it's just going to be a cartoon, this show.
Oh,
But,
fantastic.
no, I think it's a good idea, don't you, JB?
No, I like it, yeah, why not?
I mean, we're turning it very, very closely into Harry Hill's TV bet.
We are a
It
little
works.
bit.
It
It's
works.
been me and you with like massive collars on for no real reason.
So we would like, so if you're watching on YouTube, obviously for our audio listeners, nothing will change, but we would like a little overlay feature when we do our features.
An animated, what would you call that? Chuds in technical terms. An animated
Yeah, just that. Just done animation to go with the jingle.
animation.
20 second, two little avatars of JB and Jim dancing around. Some lyrics on screen.
I know who will do it.
Do you know someone?
My mate Joe will do that just for the crack.
Mm.
I'll message him this afternoon. He'll do it this afternoon. We can put it over.
Interesting quote. Oh. And then like the words come on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it'd be good. So
Okay, fine. We'll do that. That's fine. And this-
basically, me and him wanted to be on TV, and it
we
just
didn't.
never happened. So
No.
we're creating it ourselves.
No, we didn't. I realised it was this year is 20 years since I tried to do X Factor. I was like, I cannot imagine anything worse than doing that right now.
I think though, if you'd have got far on that,
Right.
you would have done well because you've got the personality for it, haven't you?
I would have been Ollie Murs.
Well, I don't know about that, but I think
No, I'd have been that one who won it, and then no one ever heard of him again. That Scottish guy. He was actually the year that I was on it.
maybe you could have been an Ollie Murs.
could have-
Do you know what? You would have been good at presenting. That's how you.
What do you
could
mean I would have been?
radio.
I am good at presenting. This
No.
is presenting.
No, but
This is my
no, but
dream.
I mean,
Don't take this away from me, Sinclair.
but I mean, no, on a proper.
Proper.
Yeah, I mean, like Radio 2, you could have had that.
Radio 2. Right.
An X Factor would have been your pathway.
It would have been, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Well,
Radio 2, you're made for Radio 2.
I was made for Radio 2, wasn't I? They're now all the young whippersnappers are going over there now.
Well, no,
Scott, well, I say young whippersnappers. Scott Mills, seen him going over for like a couple of million quid to take on
Scott
Zoe
Mills,
Ball.
I reckon he's 50, isn't he?
Oh, he's
Scott Mills?
easily 50. I mean, he was
Yeah,
still
so
on
he's not-
Radio 1 when he was like in his mid-40s. I was like, how's he
Yeah.
pulling that one off?
Mm.
Anyway, I don't think I'll do it now. I got offered a radio job last year. I said no.
I was considering starting a radio station.
Were you?
Mm.
What about a venture radio? Oh, do you know what? Because when I used to drive to Haley's granddad, who lives in Walton on the Naze, which I flipping love Walton on the Naze, it's just a place that's close to my heart. Whenever I'd get near Essex, I'd tune into Essex Radio.
Radio Essex, yeah.
Radio Essex. And I was just like, do you know what? I'd love to do Radio Essex. And there was a little network of them, Adventure, and I think they're all down like the southeast and the east coast.
But do you know I think that you could buy a local radio station, buy a local newspaper and put them all together and do a full service marketing agency for a county. You could probably give
Do quite
people
well.
really good returns. Then you do their Facebook ads, you do their Google ads.
Yeah.
But anyway, so FM's being turned off, isn't it?
Supposedly. They've been saying that for years.
Well, Kiss 100 do not operate on FM anymore. They've done
they
it.
not?
They've self-selected not to be. They're only on DAB now.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Well, Exactamondo. And I've been speaking to some radio station owners, and more of them are going to go down that route. So Virgin, for example, is not on FM, is it?
No, it's not. No, you're right.
Yeah. So they're self-selecting. So 2030 is when the government will want to turn off FM, but actually they think the big boys will get there before they're made to do it.
Oh, okay.
Kiss, for example, Virgin, for example,
Yeah.
two quite big stab. I mean, Chris Evans' breakfast show's got to be one of the most listened to in the country, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. They're still
And
putting
they're not using
a
an
couple of
FM.
million people. No,
Not using FM.
no.
FM. What's what I'm trying to say here? So the DAB local, there's some new licenses being released or something, so you can open it up.
Relatively cheap.
Yeah, it's about $4,000 a month to have the.
Which is not bad
No,
compared to what it used to be.
I don't know. I thought about it.
You could, yeah, that'd be a bit of you, wouldn't it? Only a radio station.
Yeah, but then lots of people don't listen to radio anymore. But I think if you had a radio,
But if you had a reason to, and especially if you did it like round this neck of the woods, if you did like if you did the South Coast, when you could capture the holiday makers, you can make it. Do you know why people don't listen to the radio anymore? Because it's just the same thing. It's like, that was Michael Bublé. And this is blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's what I
There's
was
nothing
thinking.
interesting
If you
about
featured
local
the radio,
radio.
station, and then what LBC have done very well, which is leading Britain's conversation, they have built a brilliant podcast business off the back of their traditional business. haven't they?
Yes.
So all the key stars have got their own podcast
Yeah.
associated to LBC
Yeah.
or Global, which own most. There's two, isn't there? There's Bauer own most of it,
yeah,
and Global
Global
own
and
the other half.
yeah.
But I mean, podcasting is becoming more and more powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's really stealing talk radio, isn't it? It's not stealing.
Well, this is the thing.
easy listening radio.
I don't. Well, listening radio is still as big as it's ever been. Apparently, it's like 89% of the population. I literally don't understand how that could be the case when there's so many more people listening to podcasts and they're still listening to the radio. Like, how is everyone listening to both? I think those numbers are fudged, but there is a place for both. But again, we talked about this on a previous episode about the TV generation. Like, we will be our age, 40-ish, will be the last generation that really care about the TV. I think our age will also be the last. Like, Kiss was the last sort of powerful radio station that actually spoke to a youth audience, and that was bloody 20 years ago. And that went properly mainstream as soon as it got bought by Bauer as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Get excited. Remember pirate radio stations?
But
Oh, my mate had
Netflix has still so much power, doesn't it? And people watch good TV content still, but just not
but
on
YouTube is bigger than Netflix, isn't it? On the screen, like streaming, YouTube gets far more streams than any other platform on a TV device. Obviously, that's not accounted for online. There'll always be a place for great programmatic content. But like I say, I used to back in the day, but I was still listening to Chris Evans in the morning, but only when I'm taking the kids to school. And as soon as I get them dropped off, then I turn a podcast on. Yeah. Unless he's got a really good guest. Like, I love Chris Evans, but even I won't tune in just to listen to Chris Evans.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you're going to buy a radio station?
No, I don't know.
And if so, we should be on it.
Well, I only thought about
you ain't got time during the day. We're going to have to do early breakfast. That's the only thing.
No, I thought if I did
James and JB from the sea. Hello and welcome to James and JB from the sea. If you're getting in the sea, careful out there today. It is 4 degrees in the water and the high tide is at 12 noon today. Make sure you get your candy floss from the Rossi Parlour. Live. What's that? It's a
James
tube
and JB
from the sea. I've already got the brand for it.
No, I did think that it would give you studios and it would make you have lots of stuff going out.
Just me personally.
No. Like, you'd have to have a team, wouldn't you? And I just look at like the disruptors like GB News. Like, they have smashed it in 3 or 4 years. They are everywhere on YouTube. They are everywhere on social.
And when you look at you've been and done stuff there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like, it's lean.
Yeah,
it's a lean setup, isn't it?
Yeah, it is lean, but not
compared
so
to
lean.
other news stations. Like, when you've been to the have you ever been to
BBC?
Have you ever been to that place where you come down the glass lift and it's on the news floor?
No, I've never been.
That is mad. When GB News, first time I turned up, I was like, "Where's the rest of it?"
Yeah.
It's like a serviced office. I felt like I was in a Regis with a lot of cameras and lights. And I was like, oh, this is interesting.
It was really interesting when I was at GB News. I've done a few things on there now. They don't have any camera operators. They're all behind, aren't they?
That's it. Yeah.
It's not like the bloke there anymore. It's all moving heads, isn't it? Control.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there, but controlling.
I'm surprised they've not come to you to do a business show.
We did speak to the senior editor.
What happened there?
He never came back to me. So
He was
obviously
worried
it wasn't
about
good.
James and JB by the sea taking over, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'd
get
love
it.
to. I'd love to do some stuff that is on TV and stuff.
Right, there you go. Put out a shout out. I'll put a shout out. If you want someone who actually knows a thing or two about business, is not just a talking head because they've done one or two things, and also, by the way, is somebody who actually operates a business, hasn't just raised money to get his wealth or their wealth, his or her wealth. I'm not saying any names in particular, guys. You can work it out yourselves. If you'd like a real entrepreneur to come onto your airways, please get in touch. Phonic, just go to phonic.agency. I'm now representing James Sinclair as his agent. No, go to jamessinclair.net.
We do have people message. We had someone the other week, didn't we, Chad's messaging?
I'm having a conversation with someone on Thursday about something TV related.
It's a bit like big TV.
No, don't get too excited.
Okay, fine.
It's just like
We've had a lot of
everyone
those conversations.
throws the words TV out there, and it's like, what does it really mean? Don't get excited until he's actually on.
And Chuds and I had a meeting with a senior producer at the BBC, and she just went,
Yeah, it's just a lot of talking.
"Yeah, it's not at all." She went, basically, you need a massive social media presence, and then we look at you now.
You have got a big social media presence.
I mean, no.
Oh, okay, fine.
I mean,
Do you know why though? I think because
if Kim Kardashian went to the BBC and went, "I'd like to make a reality TV show," I reckon she's got a 50-50 chance of getting that
yeah,
done.
I think yeah.
James Sinclair says, "Would you like to follow my life with my 120,000 or 115,000 subscribers?" I mean, we're not in the Taylor Swift leagues, are we?
Not yet.
But anyway, shake it off. Never mind.
God, he loves that one, doesn't he? Right, it's interesting quite a fact, by the way, in case you'd forgotten.
I've got loads from the audience on the James Sinclair.
Have you just asked at lunchtime?
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks very much to the James Sinclair Instagram followers. You can follow me at James Sinclair Entrepreneur. At James Sinclair Entrepreneur. And if you want to follow JP, who do you need to follow?
James Burt Official.
It never gets not funny.
I don't get what's funny about it. The best thing ever, though, is the fact that someone on YouTube has created a James Burt unofficial account.
Yeah.
And the even funnier part of it is that I've launched a new podcast a couple of months ago, and that channel, the unofficial one, has got more subscribers than my actual channel.
So if you want to go and follow James Burt Official on Instagram and just drop him a little message every now and then to just let him know officially he is the best. Right, okay, so
Come on then,
I'm
what
going
you
to read
got?
a couple out.
You just do all the quotes in this section. Come on. So it used to be a contest, but now you get loads. Go on.
A business that makes nothing but money is a poor business.
Oh.
That's from Henry Ford.
Really?
He created
obviously-
Vauxhall.
In the days before Bitcoin.
I mean, do you know, Henry Ford was a very wealthy man. I mean, obviously, but like he would have been today's Elon Musk.
Oh,
That's-
yeah. Do you think there was more Elon Musk types back in the day? Because you had Tesla, the original Tesla, who was the right-hand man of Edison, and you had Henry Ford, and you had Thomas Crapper, who invented the toilet. True story. True story.
Is that why it's
Google
called?
it. Thomas Crapper invented the toilet.
Is that why it's called?
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, right.
Yeah, sorry. Do you think there was more, or do you think we have more of them now? I guess we've had like
I think an Elon Musk, a Steve Jobs, it's once in every 25 years, isn't it?
but it hasn't been in that case, has it? You think you like Zuckerberg, Elon, Steve Jobs? That's all been in the last 30.
All right, once every, but is Zuckerberg, is he on Elon Musk's pathway?
Oh, interesting.
I don't think he is.
Why don't you put a poll out on Instagram, which he owns, or you could do a video on his
Zuckerberg,
Meta
there's
glasses?
There's no two ways about it. Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, very impressive individuals, but I don't know if Elon Musk is in a lane of his own, isn't he? What do you think, Chance?
Yeah, I agree, but you can't talk down on Zuckerberg's achievements.
No.
What you've done there is compare a professional, like a Premier League football player, with Messi. If Elon Musk is Messi, and you've just said that someone plays for
Brentford
Wolves, you've just said, oh, they're not that good, are they? But in reality, that player compared to the rest of the world is on a whole different league.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just think it's the volume and variety of Elon Musk that makes him so impressive.
Yeah, there is that.
It's cars.
He's 1 in 500 years.
Yeah.
Literally, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
But
that's
Jeff's doing the same
No, we
thing,
got-
isn't he? I say, oh, Jeff, like we're on first name terms.
Jeff could be the other one, actually, because he is doing space rockets, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's doing e-commerce.
Yeah. How many Amazon vans did you drive past today to get here? Because I saw about 50 of them on the M25. Like he's doing bits.
I think Amazon as well, and what he's done is very complicated. Whereas what Zuckerberg has done is multiple software as a service products, and hasn't really veered off of software in effect.
No, fair
or
enough.
Tech. Whereas Elon Musk is
no, fair enough. I will give you that.
it's the tunnels
Elon's
underground
once in a
in
lifetime.
California.
Yeah.
It's the batteries.
Yeah.
It's the
Solar.
it's the PayPal.
Satellites.
Oh yeah, forgetting that.
satellites,
I mean that is unbelievable in its
No,
own.
okay, I'll go with you then.
Thomas Crapper update.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So they're still a business now. He was born in 1836.
he was.
And Thomas Crapper is now a luxury classic British-made bathrooms business. But their about page on Wikipedia does say, Thomas Crapper was an English plumber and businessman. He founded Thomas Crapper & Co. in London, a plumbing equipment company. His notability regarding toilets has been overstated, mostly due to a publication in 1969 of a fictional biography, etc., etc., etc.
I got told that at school.
He might
I want
not
my
be-
GCSE back.
Might not be directly linked to the invention of the toilet, but I think he's got something to say.
He was there or thereabouts. Okay.
I've still got some great quotes. and
Please
stuff.
do.
There's just go above and beyond. This is from Sir Winston Churchill. Perfection is the enemy of progress.
Oh, that is good.
I've got another couple. I just
Come on,
want
just chuck them at us.
The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary.
Oh, that's good.
And this one here from Charnton Private. Most ice cream companies do not use real vanilla in their products due to the cost.
I see what he's doing here. Do you use it in yours?
Well, we use vanillin, which is a type of vanilla, but we are creating a Madagascan vanilla. But most of
We tried it, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago?
it wasn't very good, and we're improving it.
He walked in. All these people have been working so hard on it all day. Anyway,
What have you got?
It's not vanilla enough, is it?
I do know that Magnums don't have cream in or milk anymore. Apparently,
Really?
Yeah.
Is this the stage you got to in the ice cream world? You're now having to slag off the competition.
Well,
Is it you versus
anyone that
Wolves?
makes ice cream loves to slag off Unilever. It's their favourite thing to do.
Yeah.
So they have all the facts. Anyone that makes ice cream. Well, Magnums don't even have milk or cream in them anymore. That's their favourite thing. Before they even say hello to you. Did you know?
Where they go? I don't feel I need to add any more. You've added all of them, haven't you?
It's because you haven't got any.
No, I've got plenty.
Come on, can you
I
have one?
got quotes for days.
That's how it works.
I've got
It's not
quotes for
called the
days.
James Sinclair Interesting Fact of the Week. It's called the James Sinclair, James Burt, and the James Sinclair Audience on Instagram's Fact of the Week.
Saying no is not the priority of just the privileged.
Saying no.
Is not
What does that mean?
not the priority of the
Mr.
privileged. Because people think that when you get to a certain stage, like you can say no to a lot of stuff now because you've got to a certain level. But
Wish I did.
you've got to a certain level because you've said no to stuff. Now, there's not many things you say no to. If someone wafts a business under your nose, I'll have that. I'll have that. Janky, get on the phone, I'm having
Yeah,
that.
I do think you should say no more than you say yes.
Yes.
But then when you say yes, you dive in.
I've turned down 2 things.
No means no.
Yeah. I've turned down 2 things in the last 2 weeks that last year I jumped at, and they were
Oh.
like,
What were they?
they were big paydays as well. And I was like, no, it's just I've got really clear on my vision
Have you?
for my life. Yeah.
What were they? Type of things? I know you can't say, but
One
tickle our taste
was
buds.
one was to go and be the CEO of someone's private podcast. Basically, they've got quite a big personal brand.
Yeah, but you wouldn't like doing that.
No. And it was like, I'll give you 120 grand to come and do it. I was like, no, thanks. It was the easiest no ever. And the second one was somebody reached out to me from a car brand and asked me to run their social media. And I went, no, thanks.
Yeah, that's not for you.
And I was like,
Do you know, a good friend of mine is a CEO of a big company.
right.
When I met him very recently, and he wants to leave that company, and he's been there a long time. He's very effective, and he just said, "There's nothing more for me to do. They don't want to invest loads of money." He said, "I know that they're going to offer me a lot more money to stay," and he said, "And I'm just not going to take it." And that's how you know, isn't it? So he is choosing happiness over an extra 20 grand a year, 30 grand a year. If you can justify that in your mind, you know that it's time to change.
Yeah, definitely. Or that you're in or out of alignment. Because I knew that decision to go and work in either of those situations or to take those on, even as clients, I could have spun it into a way that would have worked and folded into the agency. I said, no, it's just got to be a hard no. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Yeah, I agree. I get those moments. So I get sent, everyone's advising me, oh, why don't you buy this? Why don't you buy that? But although it looks like there's a big eclectic mix of stuff, they all really spiderweb together just beautifully. Yeah.
I think that's such a good mantra to have, especially when because I think a lot of people, there's a misnomer around you. Like, oh, he has a lot of stuff, that's why he's successful. No, he's successful and he has a lot of stuff. Like you've stayed in, whilst it's varied-ish, you've stayed in your lane to a certain extent.
Yeah, it is.
That famous to a few thing is so true. The reason like opportunities will come to you is because you're famous in that like micro niche. Yeah, I think there's something to be said for that. But a no should not be, is not the priority of just the privileged.
Well,
say no more often, baby.
Flipping great. If you're a business owner, you know how chaotic handling money across multiple accounts and platforms can get. Now, with Revolut Business, you can get everything streamlined into just one account. It's designed to handle all your financial needs, whether you're just starting out or running a really big business. Every month, over 20,000 new businesses join Revolut Business, and it's easy to see why. They're here to help you build your business and spend smarter. With Revolut Business, you can manage multiple currencies, send and receive payments globally, track spending in real time, and automate your workflows, saving you and your team hours every single week. You can also connect your accounting software like Xero directly to your Revolut Business account. This allows you to automate expense management and easily reconcile all your transactions, saving time for you and your teams with effortless financial tracking. Revolut Business offers 4 accounts to match where you're at in business, from a basic plan with no subscription fees to an enterprise level account with subscription fees. If you're ready to control your business's finance, sign up to Revolut Business via revolut.com/RB/James50. If you do this before the 5th of February, you'll be able to top up your account to receive a £50 welcome bonus. It's available for new Revolut Business customers only. T's and C's do apply. Find further information in the link in the video description. I want to say a big thank you to Revolut Business for sponsoring this episode. Now let's get back to it.
Flipping, and talking of flipping great, let's get back to the flipping conversation, shall we?
Yeah.
Because poor bloody Tom has been sat here for about 45 minutes at this point, just waiting for us to talk about his business and give him a bit of advice, and he's listening to this inane chat. Let's get him on. Tom, we are coming back to you, mate. How the devil are you? Are you still there? Are you still alive? Or have you died?
I'm still here, yeah. Thank you very much.
Great. So give us a quick synopsis and summary, mate, of the business. Obviously, we've got the information that you added when you sort of applied to be on the pod, but just give us the sort of the origin story and tell us and the listener and the watcher a little bit more about your journey, dude, and where you're currently at and how you got to here, please.
Yeah, of course, no worries at all. So started my life out as a salesperson for a fairly prolific figure in the personal development world, Rob Moore.
Okay.
Worked for him for about 3 years on the sales team. Probably the best thing I ever did experience wise, just being around like-minded people like him and the trainers that worked for him. It was just never really enough. I'm always kind of pushing for more and never really satisfied in anything that I do. I'll always set a goal, hit the goal, and then have another goal 5 seconds later. Never really feel satisfied. So I started my first business, and that was a completely different industry. It was exterior renovation. Is this kind of what you meant? Just go through how I ended up then?
Yeah, keep going.
Perfect. Amazing. So I worked 9 till 5:30 in the office in the sales job, and then from 5:30 until about 10 p.m. 7 days a week I would then knock doors for my first business. So I knocked doors, got the lead, and then sat that as an appointment the next day, and then pitched the customer to essentially make the outside of their house look nicer. I had not really a clue about this business, so I straight away got a painter and decorator. Basically offered him a deal and said, I'll give you the business, just give me your set price. So then I would go in with that set price, add my bit on the top, and then pass him the business. And that started to go really well. So it was about 8 months into that, I managed to get to 2 full-time fitting teams as 2 door canvassers. And then I left Progressive and went full-time. That started to go really, really well. The business started to pick up loads, started to get it a lot more consistent. I was hiring more salespeople, more fitting teams. Just naivety kicked in quite a lot. I was young, earning good money and spending a lot of it. Cash flow was a massive problem for me. I was buying new cars, watches, going on holiday, just essentially just spending all of it. And then COVID hit. And at this point, I transitioned a lot to commercial. So I was doing a lot of restaurants and pubs and just larger buildings because, my mindset was bigger buildings, more money, which happened, of course. But as soon as they did the lockdown process where they started to shut pubs and restaurants down, pretty much every single one of my contracts rang me up and said, can I essentially have the deposit back because we don't know when we're going to reopen. So within the space of about 2 or 3 weeks, I carried on paying the boys, carried on paying the salespeople, rinsed the business bank account, rinsed my personal account because I carried on paying them. And I lost a lot in the space of about 3 weeks. So at this point, then I had to move back in with my mum. I lost my house. I had my car, but that was kind of it. That was literally all I had left. I had 38 quid in the bank, about 15 grand on credit cards. And then I came across a video I slumped about for about 2 weeks. I wish I could say, straight away I started another business. I didn't. I was, probably depressed for the first 2 weeks. Came across a video on YouTube of a guy in America reselling and essentially just upcycling furniture. And I really liked the concept, but I'm extremely ADHD. So if you stick me in front of a table for 2 or 3 hours to paint it, I'm not going to do it. So I took the same concept, but applied it to stuff that I didn't really have to add value to. I started to negotiate on washing machines, dishwashers, under-counter fridges, just essentially anything I could get for free and fit in my car, I grabbed. First week, it went quite well. I did 400 quid in my first week. That was mainly from just washing machines, just picking up free washing machines and flipping them on for 50, 60 quid a time. And then 2 weeks in, it started to be a little bit more consistent. I started to learn it a little bit more, what sells, what doesn't sell, how to market it correctly. And the second week in, I had a little bit of a pot there. So I decided to rent a van because I thought, more storage, I can collect multiple items at the same time. Used essentially all the money that I'd earned over the 2 weeks to rent this van. And then I came across a free sofa in my area. And I thought it wasn't, it was up for free. I didn't have to negotiate. It was up for free. Picked it up, brought it back to my mum's house because at this point I'm storing in my mum's garden, my mum's conservatory, essentially anywhere I could just put stuff. Pictured this sofa, put it on Marketplace the same day, and 24 hours later it sold for 140 quid. And I thought, right, Jesus Christ, I'm onto something now. And then just started to replicate that same thing. So just finding free sofas, putting them back on Marketplace with better photos, better lighting, offering delivery, which is the main selling point. And very, very quickly, it started to have like a massive snowball effect. And quite quickly, I made tons of mistakes, don't get me wrong, collecting the wrong stock, had to dispose of a lot of stock, but very quickly started to get a consistent flow and very quickly went from sort of, 600-700 quid a week to I was hitting 1,500 a week and then 2 grand a week and then 2.5 grand a week. And it just kept going.
Wow, that's amazing. So
I love stories.
Yeah,
like this.
I
I
do.
just absolutely love it. Knock a door, sell something to someone at their doorstep. I just love that mentality.
Well, Tom, you're never ever going to go hungry, are you? I mean, that's for sure.
No, hopefully not.
How did you find out about this podcast then, Tom?
So, James, I've followed you on, I watch your vlogs religiously on YouTube. Even from the start, I think when I first started watching, you had probably 1,000 subscribers, maybe 1,500 subscribers. So I've watched you religiously, and then I DM'd you on Instagram, and then you then sent me the link, and then I applied for the podcast this way.
Cool. I get it. Okay.
So where's the business at now? So you got it to a point where you were doing a couple of grand a week. And This is during lockdown and, the world was upside down and everyone was doing anything that they could to sort of, turn a quid. I get that. So then, because one of your challenges is now that you're juggling 2 full-time businesses. So is that the current flipping side of things and then the training of the flipping? Tell us about the evolution of like the community and the training side of things.
Yeah, so I got the furniture business. I got that to the point where I really started to home in on who my audience was and what exact stock do I need to get then get them out in 24 to 48 hours. As soon as I nailed that, it started to then increase volume more so. Then I hired a driver to essentially outsource the most time-consuming part, which is the collections and the deliveries. And then as soon as I'd done that, I then all of a sudden freed up sort of 4 or 5 hours a day where I was just sat at home. Did my head in, absolutely did my head in. So then I thought I can start a networking group, which in time I never had an idea about setting up and becoming my hands are in quotes right now, a course seller. Because one, there's a lot of people that are in the industry that I don't personally agree with. And I never really wanted to be known as that. However, it kind of transitioned into that anyway, but it's not really just a course. I'll get onto that slightly later on anyway. But started a Discord group where I was giving out kind of free mentorship, helping people price items, and more of a networking side. I thought if I can grow my personal brand, that in turn is going to more customers and more stock for the furniture business. And that happened, but along the way, I started to make people a lot of money as well. So people were joining the group, and in sort of 30 days, they were making, 3-4 grand a month on top of their full-time jobs. So this was about 2.5 years into me reselling. And then I decided to go into detail and depth on exactly what I'd learned over my journey. So what sells, what prices to sell them at, how to market correctly, how to establish a brand so you can then build contacts. So I sell a lot now to landlords. So I don't really go as much now, but property network meetings to meet serviced accommodation landlords, HMO landlords, and basically the elevator pitch is I can save you 20% on what you're paying now to furnish a property. So just really honed in on everything I'd learned. And then as soon as I did that, I created the course, which is 21 videos. And now it's lifetime mentorship in the Discord group from me and my team. And the results that we've provided are, in the least dramatic way possible, insanely life-changing. I've got lads that joined where they're earning $1,000 a month in a 9 to 5, and they're now doing 20K a month consistently. Mum's on maternity pay, earning £800 a month on maternity pay, and Jess now she's doing $1,000 a week profit.
So just on, so are you selling new furniture now as well?
Yes, yeah, as well as yeah.
And where do you get that from? Like returns from John Lewis, Next, all that stuff?
So they're non-branded from suppliers in Birmingham. They're essentially just a wholesaler, and they sell to people like me, people like other furniture shops. It's the generic stock. So have you seen, the Verona corner sofas you see all over Facebook?
No, but I'll tell you word for it.
Like that, essentially.
So you buy that in for what and sell for what? Are you just making small margins or good margins?
Yeah, good margins. Yeah, so the probably bread and butter are grey, small L shapes. The buy price is £200, and then I resell them for between £475 and £500.
And if they were buying that from the shop, what would that be?
£700-800.
Fine. I mean, if I was you and you've got this, if this was mine, I would be going to China.
Oh,
that's what I would be doing, because that, I'm telling you, where you're buying them for 200 quid, they're going to China, aren't they? For sure.
Yeah, that's where they get them from. Yeah,
and I know all the places to go in China to find all this stuff.
That sounds perfect.
But you need to go to a couple of the furniture shows in China, and you need to go to a city called Foshan, Foshan, which is the region that makes furniture in China. And you need to spend a couple of weeks over there and work it all out and get yourself an agent. Send them pictures ahead of time of what you will buy a lot of, and then they find all the factories and then show you around, and then you negotiate, baby.
Cool. Okay, that sounds great.
But I mean, that will give you, because the thing is, Tom, with these things, you will want to professionalize the business as time goes on, and you won't be going around in a van collecting secondhand furniture, and you'll want to turn it into a systemized thing, and you should be building a business to sell, even if you have no intention of selling it. And I think you want to carry on with doing what you're doing, but probably just buy new stuff, but at great prices, where you just double it and you get volume, but you just have it all in a warehouse and you go and sell it all.
Yeah, definitely.
And then what's great about this is you build a wholesale business on the back of it that you sell to all your resellers. So you say to your resellers, look, you go and do some of the stuff like I did. You buy the secondhand stuff, but you can also buy the new stuff from us. And you build this giant wholesale business.
Oh, that's great.
So as soon as the containers arrive, you go 3 for them, 3 for me, 6 for them, 4 for them, 2 for me. And then, you're turning it back into cash instantly. Because what happens, I've got a big importing business. You have this thing called cash flow cycle. You put £1 out, and what does it take to turn that pound back into £1, right? So, if you add in your profit, lots of importing businesses might have a 6-month cash flow cycle. So they put a deposit down, pay the factory in the Far East. It's on the water for 6 weeks. It clears customs, and then it might take you 2 or 3 months to sell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could have a 6-month cash flow cycle. So you pay for the stuff. It's on the water for 6 weeks. Then the second it lands, you sell the whole container out because you've built up on your Discord or all these people that are learning from you. They buy from you, and you might only put 25% on, but you turn it back into cash straight away, which gives you bigger buying power, which means that you can, when you're selling it yourself to your customers, you're making even stronger gross profits. And I believe that when you can have a B2B business and a B2C business entwined in each other, it gets very exciting.
Okay, that sounds great. That's a great idea, because I'm doing that slightly with the supplier now, where I'm essentially passing my members to him and then earning off of that. But obviously it would be better if it was all coming from me.
Do you know what's good about furniture as well? What's good about furniture is it is very rare that something breaks. So if you're bringing in technology, say you was going to be importing microphones or mixers or anything technological, lots of problems. But you do need to make sure that it's all fireproofed, and you need to get out there to get the best deals. And you need to find an agent in China that will do all the testing, the certificates. But look, hey, it's usually one trip, people have got 50% more knowledge. By the time you've been to China 4 or 5 times, and a couple of weeks a year, you can work it all out. And you can maybe make things 5% better than your competitors. Slightly better fabric, slightly better sponging, slightly better quality, and that does pick up after a time, and people go, yeah, this is good. And when you intimately know the factories, I'm using the wrong word there, intimately, but once you get to know them very well, these things can snowball.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. There's such a massive demand for the cheaper price, well, with my audience anyway, for the rather than $2.5 at DFS, because of the way the world is right now. I think the cost of living crisis, it's driven our sales through the roof.
But you see, with the DFS, them products probably only cost them 500 quid.
Yeah.
And they're selling it. They've got their massive, great showroom warehouses. I mean, some of them will cost them £1 million a year to operate just one showroom with staff and with business rates and electric, and so they got to sell some sofas to pay that £1 million, haven't they?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they did 3 billion turnover last year.
I'm sure they did.
They are selling.
Well, what's good about DFS? They're prolific marketeers, and they're I mean, everyone knows them because they just do not stop marketing, do they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, constant sale, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they're everywhere. When I get in the car, they're on the radio, they're on they're on Facebook. They are across everything, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
What's your, because we always ask people what the business looks like when it's finished, and where do you want to be in 1 year's time. So you said like in a year's time you wanted to have doubled revenue, which sounds like you could quite easily do if you're sort of growing your community. Social's growing. That's the other great thing. If you go to China, you're documenting all this for your social media. It'd be fantastic content as well for you, and then you could it just gives you more credibility within your audience, etc. But what you said sustainable for years to come, as in what the business looks like when it's finished. What's the end goal for someone like you, Tom?
So I think the end goal is more legacy. It's not specifically a financial figure anymore. I think more so being known, like James, like Rob, like Grant Cardone, known in the money space. I think rather than being known as Tom the Furniture Reseller, it's being known in the money space.
Why do you care about that?
Sorry?
Why do you care about that? I don't know. What's the driver there?
I think just where I kind of came up through working at Progressive and just being around those people. I don't really know, to be honest. Just establish it. I'm just being known in the money space. I don't really have like an exact answer. It's just I think the way I look at yourself, James, I would want kind of other people to look at me that way, as like a serial entrepreneur and known in the money space.
I don't think people know me like that. I don't.
I look at you in a very specific way, and it's,
No,
not,
I
it's
don't.
not good. No, you are that to people though.
I don't care about that.
No, fair enough.
No, I what I care about is attracting opportunities to my organisations, and I genuinely do get a kick out of helping people, and I like speaking at conferences. The whole reason I started making content, Tom, was to speak on stages at conferences.
Yeah,
getting paid to speak. I quite like the idea of that, and that still is the thing that I like doing most out of all of it. But being well known in the money space, I mean, I suppose there is, if it gives you leverage and opportunity for your trading business, but I'd be careful if you're doing it just to be known. That could be dangerous.
Yeah, I think with being known, though, obviously the opportunities that come with that, like you said, get paid to speak on stage, TED Talks, just exposure to all of your businesses.
Yeah. What's the sort of the next stage? So obviously we're looking like right down the end of the line of, legacy, but what's the next thing? So obviously like the reselling and the furniture stuff, is there other stuff that your community's crying out for that you think, I could, is it kind of like, they're people in their mid-20s, they're working a job that they probably don't really like that much. They're looking for a secondary income, and they don't really care whether it's flipping, reselling, FBA by Amazon, rent to rent, Bitcoin. Is that the market that you have, would you say?
I think it's more the people that I get, a lot of them tend to be, because I can resonate with them, a lot of them tend to be tradesmen. So the audience is 27 to 34-year-olds on average. And a lot of them are tradesmen where they're in a physical business. They don't mind getting their hands stuck in. Because I've gone through the FBA courses and the rent-to-rent courses, and the results and the people that I actually saw go through them, the outcome wasn't always amazing. It was quite a low success rate. Whereas with this, it's an extremely high success rate. So I think there's a stigma around it, isn't there? There's a stigma around being a course seller. There's a stigma around Forex and FBA and online courses, but I'm trying to get away from that.
So what's the next evolution, the next step down the pipe that you can see coming?
So we're introducing a couple of other income streams to the Discord, so that other items can be resold. So it's about taking the Discord again to the next level, so increasing the existing members' income and pushing more revenue streams. So
really pushing that like reseller community, because sort of almost like niching down into that, like stuff that people can easily resell and turn a profit from.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Have you got any other questions for Jimbo that you specifically wanted to ask his worldly wisdom on?
Yeah, I think the I mentioned it on when I filled the application out, the outsourcing side, where you need to outsource that specific task, or within that business you need to outsource that certain thing to free up your time, and it's actually stepping away from that. Did you ever struggle with that?
I don't understand it. I mean, I've never outsourced anything. I just employ people.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I mean by that. Yeah, so you employ someone to take over that role or take over that job.
No, I can't wait to get to a position where you can do that. And I don't think I think you'll be fine. What are you worried about? Give me the scenario.
So with regards to sales calls, as an example, for the course that we sell, conversions that I get are quite high. Stepping back from that could decrease revenue if the new salesperson comes in and their conversions are nowhere near as high.
But you might need to train them better, mightn't you?
Yeah.
You know, you might need to spend a lot of time training them.
And that first person, when it's you coming off the phone, will not convert as well as you because people have bought into you through your personal brand. So I think you have to be aware that if there is a drop-off rate of 50%, and that is probably about standard, you'll know this from the sales game. But equally, if they're making, twice as many phone calls, it nets out at the same result, doesn't it? And it's buying your time back for those 6 hours a day when they're just bashing the phone sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, I was always kind of told by, as I was growing up from my granddad and just other people that were business people and business-minded people, where they always say, focus on one thing until it's nailed and then move on to the next. Yep. Would you say when you've got, because obviously you've got a big structure now, James, where you've got management teams in place, but if you're kind of building something and then something else comes along, would you then go for that opportunity as well?
It's on the strength of your management team. If I was you, I think, Tom, what I would do for you is employ someone that isn't a salesperson, that's a good PA as soon as you can. It'd be a very good investment for someone like you, an organizer, an admin person, someone 20 years older than you. That I think would be very good. Someone that could bring structure and experience. Because someone like you will always generate cash. You just got it, but what makes someone like you go from okay to good is having good management around you and a very good PA, and pay them, get someone that's worked for someone and just say, look, organize my life, all the paperwork. You are in charge of managing the people, the hiring, the firing, the organization, the bank accounts, the paying the tax bills, all of that. Give that all to them, and they just are in charge of your life. And then you just go out there and generate more income. But get someone you can really trust. Her name's Jean. She's, double your. How old are you, Tom?
I'm 27.
Yeah. So get, a 47-year-old lady, or that's really, and got loads of experience of managing big businesses and teams, and they're your executive assistant.
Yeah, okay, that sounds great.
That's one of the best things. I employed a lady called Jean. She was 55 when I was 16, and she was my admin lady. Then I had Tina, and I've always had those people around me, and it's good. What's not the right thing to do is employ another 27-year-old guy or girl that hasn't got those worldly experiences that can just give you all of that good stuff, and they will. Like a mother hen,
Yeah, definitely.
Don't employ another you.
And make sure it's not a member of your family or someone you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's a big failure of a lot of people as well. Go to a recruitment agency, go to Reed, get out there and find someone that has actually done the role before.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
And then work out what your highest value tasks are, because that whole thing of like the sales, like that's probably the thing, that's the revenue generator. So that should be the thing you give away last. So it sounds like the community engagement, community piece, the training and the courses, and the sales calls, that should all be you. But like Jimbo says, as soon as you're done on that sales call, then Gene or whoever it ends up being can send the contract, can chase it up, can make sure they've paid the money, that they've been onboarded, all of that other stuff. But the highest, I think people give away the highest value task, don't they? Quite
Absolutely,
often.
Yeah. I'm just laughing because we always say Gene.
But you want a Gene, didn't you? That's exactly what you want, like a Gene.
Yeah. Just some in effect, so polar opposite to you.
Yeah. Do you feel like you work for them?
Yeah,
like
that's
the
one.
grown up.
Like the primary school teacher that sort of, I'm going to do this. Can you help me?
I had it with the first PA, Della. Yeah. She'd worked for like a big, she worked into the big shopping centre brand.
Yeah.
So she was used to organise it like a board level. And I remember, I'll never forget, I was like, I'm not sure if I've done the right thing here. She went, what's the health and safety policy? I said, don't hurt yourself. and laughed, and she didn't laugh, and I was like, oh, she's serious. But then all of a sudden, like, I felt like I had to do stuff for Della, and that's the right way around for it to be, because then you just stay in your zone of genius and you outsource everything else. So
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Brilliant
you almost
stuff.
feel like getting told off every day.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right, where
yeah.
can people find out more about if they want to join this community of reselling legends? Tom, where can they find you?
I think so. The most active platform is daily content is on my Instagram. So that's Tom Flipped, TOMM and then Flips. I'm on TikTok and YouTube as well under those same handles.
Oh, I had a question, sorry. When you were building out a community and you wanted to build out a network to build your personal brand, you said, your words, not mine, you decided Discord. Why Discord?
Because you can section it off in specific topics, so you can have multiple categories, but then channels for each specific topic. And it's kind of the best layout, I think. Whereas like Telegram is just one channel, isn't it?
Does it have the ability for like organic growth though, like an Instagram? Will people just find a reseller community, or do you have to push them all there from, like one of your other platforms?
Yeah, so I mean, you can join the free group. So the way the system works is we have a lead magnet, which is the free training section. Once you go through the free training, you'll then email the link to the Discord server, and then the free Discord server, you can see testimonials, your flips, which is members' daily results, and then from there you can upgrade to the further channels essentially and the mentorship.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, I like it. Nice one. All right, well, thank you for being on the pod, my friend. We very much appreciate it and wish you well.
Thank you, mate. You're amazing. Well done.
Cheers, pal. Nice one.
Fantastic.
Flipping fantastic. We never tire of that bloody joke, do we? Well, what a lovely fella. Tom, all the way from Tom Flips.
Yeah.
That sort of a business.
I mean, I'm being very serious. That man will never go hungry.
No, he won't, will he? He will always turn a quid, a guy like him. But right, it's time for... Oh, no, it's not time for that thing. Sorry, it's time for this. It's time for the 8 Traits of the Greats. It's the point of the show where award-winning entrepreneur James Sinclair, all the way from Rochford in England, assesses our guests and rates them out of 8 and says, are they great or are they just on their way to being great? Is there greatness or is there a period of waitness?
Starting with the end in mind.
That was crap.
Starting with the end in mind. Come on.
Absolutely not.
No, okay.
No.
Passionate about his cause?
Definitely.
He's passionate about, I think he's passionate about making money, that
Yeah.
boy. Untold amounts of resilience. Yeah, we give him that.
Yeah.
I think definitely he's an innovator, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving him that. Commercial awareness. He's got some.
He's got a bit. He can't have more than half a point.
Half on that.
He's got a bit.
Relationships with people. I think he's got that. And the next one is possibly the strongest that I've come across. Master marketeer. Do you not think?
For what he's doing, yeah. And that whole funnel that he's got of free content, lead magnet, Discord, servers broken up. Yeah, smart.
Staying teachable. He's got that as well.
Go on then. Add it up, baby. What's he got?
6.5.
6.5 out of 8.
Good score.
Good solid score.
He could be very good.
He could be.
My worry about him.
Magpie syndrome.
No, it's not so much. It's just, has he got the M around him, the management?
Oh,
He's definitely on out of the E plus M equals S conundrum. He's on the entrepreneur side,
100%,
without a doubt.
Yeah,
and
you can see where he's worked.
Yeah,
you could see that sort of mentality of just get the sale in and yeah, like I say,
it's very interesting. I mean, I want to be careful what we say here, but it's very interesting to say that lots of people buy courses and it doesn't work out, and they.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've got a pal of mine who used to work in the property.
Maybe we shouldn't carry on with this conversation.
No, we probably shouldn't. But I think that is the reality, though, that if you are... Also, it goes back to a thing that we talked about, I think, on the previous episode. Building out training-based businesses and training products is hard work. People think because you can go on to Kajabi and it's 150 quid, you can set up a business and it's got a landing page and a built-in email and it's got an RSS for your podcast feed and blah, blah, blah. It's a business in a box. It is so hard to get people to buy products. I've launched something in the back end of last year, which was how to launch podcasts with 23 paying members. The monthly recurring revenue got to like $600.
Yeah.
And it was like, we did 2 live feeds
a week. Me
and
Chuds could have told you not to have done that.
Yeah,
because we watched you do it and we both went, why is he doing that?
Yeah, but I just like to make a rod for my own back. I like to give you
How many
ammunition.
times are you going to do something like that before you go, why are we doing this?
Probably a few more.
Because
Probably a few more.
Because
Probably a few more.
we've got, I suppose we get close to 800,000 to 1 million views some month across all our platforms. And I think we've probably got 200 members on Entrepreneurs University.
You don't push it very hard though, do you?
Well, I think we do, don't we?
Do you reckon?
It's on every podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we talk about it enough. I think the stigma is the guest there was talking about courses is just that every young person that wants to make any money online that knows anything remotely, they're like, oh yeah, I'll sell a course about this.
Yeah.
And it's actually a joke. I see it in comments on Instagram where someone will do something successful.
It's like a meme, isn't it?
The top comment will be, oh, when you set up your course.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not that courses are bad. It's just that they are the thing that gets targeted because they're like
Yes.
top of the joke. They're the punchline.
Yeah, because
But like your course, the Entrepreneurs University, is ridiculous value. And obviously, I don't need to sell it, but all of your 20 years of business for 50 quid a month, it's actually a joke.
It's too much value for the price point. And
we've actually
doesn't
spoke
resonate
about
with
that.
easy
That's why we
come
think
cash
people don't sign up to it
Yeah.
in many ways, because it needs to be a lot more money. Well, me and Chuds have had this discussion many, many a times. But I think it does work when you have something that's essential. So I'm thinking now in our childcare business, those team members need CPD.
Yeah.
Solicitors, accountants, they need CPD. I mean, accountants are always on a bloody course.
Yeah.
Always on a bloody, because they have to, because, go on, Chuds.
Just to echo that B2B courses don't get slagged off at all. Like professionals going on other professional courses, that's loads of successful businesses are built off of that.
Yeah.
Whereas B2C courses are where the meme pops up, where people take the piss a little bit.
But like, what I was trying to say there is, if you've got a childcare business and you want your childcare nursery nurses to be better, and you can say at the end of the day you'll become the next level up, those things I think is a good smart thing. And creating courses internally for your team for digital training. I mean, if you've got a Starbucks or a Costa and all the operational things, and you build a course around it, that could be good.
Well, there we go. 6.5 out of 8.
He was good. He could
Nice
be,
guy.
He could be excellent if
Yeah.
he puts the right people around him.
Yes. And does the right thing for the right reasons. Because
And
like
look-
you said, being known in the same circle as you and Grant Cardone, like what's the actual value of that?
Yeah, well, I couldn't give a monkeys about
No.
that.
No, okay, fair enough. Right, it's time for the business quiz before we get ourselves out of here. Come on, Chuds. Thanks, mate.
On the quizzes businessy.
Business knowledge and it's fun. Which one's clever and which one's dumb?
Izzy Wizzy, let's get quizzy.
Last week, what did you
I won
didn't
last
you?
week, yeah.
Here you go, babes. Have your cup.
Thank you very much.
I'll have a spoon.
Don't forget, did I say it on this episode or on the last episode?
Can't remember.
About we want an animation feature for each of our jingles.
You said it on the last one.
Yeah, so
By the time this
was
comes
this
out,
one,
we
was
might-
Yeah, I swear it was 45 minutes ago.
Was it? I think it was the one before. Was this? Have we had lunch between this one and last one? I can't, I'm losing track.
oh dear.
Yes, it was this one. You're right, because we've done another feature earlier.
This feels like we've been on air for 6 hours.
feels like Groundhog Day. Today feels like Groundhog Day.
We're going to have to put intervals in because we're going to use all of YouTube's servers up.
We are. Sorry about that, YouTube. But yes, we will. By the time this comes out, there might already be some animated things. I reckon I could get made today, to be fair, by someone who would absolutely love to put your, like Terrence and Phillip. Do you remember from South Park? Ah, Terrence. Do you remember Terrence and Phillip?
No.
No, it's very politically incorrect, but it's very funny. Right, in this envelope here, there is a business quiz-based question. There is a fact or a statistic, and me and James Sinclair go head-to-head in a battle of the business titans. I'm not a titan, he is. And we find out who's closer, and one of us wins a cup and one of us wins a spoon. Ironically, the spoon is actually better made, but there you go. Right, and you can join in at home. What percentage of Fortune 500 companies use AI as of January 2025?
So one more time.
God's sake. We're in the dramatic
What
percentage of Fortune 500 companies use AI as of January 2025?
That's going to be high.
It is going to be high, isn't it?
I don't know anyone that doesn't use it in some degree now.
Do you use it every day?
Well, Shutter's used it on this podcast. AI have generated answers
These questions?
on Google. Yeah.
Do you use it every day?
Yeah, definitely every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say you use it every day?
I think people use it every day without even knowing they use it every day.
Yes, they do. But do you proactively use it every day?
I use it to check grammar and punctuation. I think it's fantastic.
It is good for that. So you proactively, what are you using most?
I'm having conversations with ChatGPT with everything I do on my laptop.
Yeah, I am.
Every
now.
time I write anything or have an
You
idea
know those
for
tabs
anything.
you always have open? It's just like one of them
that's
now.
it, 100%.
So do you have you got it ingrained into the programs, or you got?
So I've got 5 different conversations going with it, all about different things that I need to iterate and edit. So come up with YouTube titles based on X, Y, and Z. But because I'm like 8 months deep into the conversation about James Sinclair's YouTube channel, it knows exactly the type of content we like, the language to use, not to use certain words, proactively think of similar titles to this video that did well. And so I'm like so far in with it that it just gets better every time I use it.
Doesn't it?
So I don't need to say, oh, make that less dramatic, or don't use that word, or make it easier to read. It just does it really well. So I've got like 5 or 6 of those type of conversations going all the time.
Is it interesting? I mean, I think if any of the Fortune 500 uses accountancy somewhere, that's using AI. I mean, Xero uses AI all the time, doesn't it?
So what's your answer? Come on.
I mean, I'm going to go at least 80%.
At least 80.
Do you think it's higher?
Are you sticking at 80?
Well, it depends on what you say. I want it to be pretty high.
I was going to say 90%. So I'm now going to go 86. 86%.
I'm going to go 85%.
85, okay. Let's find out. So what percentage of Fortune 500 companies use AI as of January 2025? Put your answers in the comments as well. It's got to be before, what time are we at now? It's got to be before 1 hour and 6 minutes, and we know you're cheating. Okay, go on. Give us your answer. We'll wait. Cool. Well done. Right, let's find out. I'm not entirely surprised, actually, to be fair.
Come on, what is it?
The answer is 99%.
Yeah.
According to statistics, that is for me to say. According to statistics from Demand Sage, India has the highest AI adoption rate with 59% of companies using AI. AI could replace 300 million jobs by 2030. 56% of companies use AI for customer service.
I don't think, I mean, we're using AI in bits and bobs of our business, but nowhere near enough. But there's some things like...
Oh, it's just mad.
Well, I mean, AI's been around for a long time, but I think we've just, I've said this on the pod before, we've dressed it up in different ways, and now we're using the AI terminology. But Chuds, you know that audio thing that you got Chuds to do on the podcast, remove unwanted sound effects? What is it, Chuds?
Isotope, I think it's called.
I don't know. That wasn't me that said that one, I don't think.
Well, it was your team then.
Oh, fine.
But that, Chuds can remove stuff that you don't want, like a seagull making a noise.
Yeah.
I don't think that's AI though.
No, but my point that has removed a big chunk of work. If you went back 30, 40 years ago, a sound engineer.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, how long would that have taken them to do that?
Yeah.
Like
Hours.
a long time. And I think we've been using little trips and tricks like that for a long time.
Yeah.
But someone now is going, oh, it's AI, it's AI.
No, I think I kind of disagree though, because ChatGPT wasn't capable of what it was 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So the idea that software's always been good is a different conversation to anyone can log into ChatGPT. That is very different. That is brand new.
I heard a brilliant thing the other day about AI, because what most people are using AI for is to give you an answer. But what about if you get it to ask you a question? Because the art of great coaching and getting the best out of people is not to give them the answer. You come to me with a question, chances are you're not going to do it. It's going to be the other way around, by the way. I appreciate that. But let's say you come to me for an answer. It's better for me often to get you to come up with your own answer by asking you a better question. So this was someone that said that they're basically using it as like a therapist life coach. And every Friday they sit down with it for an hour and they said, I want you to treat this as a therapy session. How can I be the best version of me that I can be? What are my challenges? What question would you ask me? And then you give the answers in ChatGPT. And obviously you could do it in voice to text as well. So you can literally have a conversation with a chat GPT therapist.
Well, there you go.
I might do that.
Are you scared about it, or are you all right with it?
No, I'm fine with it. But I appreciate that certain industries, AI is not going to take your job, but the person who knows how to use AI is my take on it for the time being. But it does make things like realistically, like production, the world that I'm in, that's 100% with AI become a race to the bottom now. There will always be a place for like a Chuds, who's like a craftsman of brilliant content. But for like general, a lot of podcasts
can I just say
just
that
like top and tail
what
stuff.
Chuds and I do, we are more. Basically, it's more important that you're a good storyteller.
Yes,
isn't it, Chuds? You think that's like, yeah, he knows how to obviously do all the camera trickery and the editing, but what makes a great video is knowing the story.
I think it's AI will replace everyone's getting the job done. Like the task will get done by a robot forever. Like that's what we'll never need to edit a video maybe in 10 years time.
Yeah.
Great. I don't care about that. I think what it is taste, knowing what an audience wants to listen to and wants to see, and then just being in charge of that, controlling it. So Steven Spielberg or even Christopher Nolan, let's say he doesn't touch a thing and he uses AI to put a film together, it'll still be better than anyone else's film. Because
that's
it's
a
like
really good
there's
point.
something about your personality and your taste and you knowing what good looks like.
Yeah.
Like if AI can remove everything that humans have to do and we're just left to the creation of art, then that's the best thing ever. If AI can do the task for everyone, it's just down to the human brain to get creative. And that's the difference. Like my brain will think of stuff that's different to your brain, won't it, JB?
That's good.
Even if we have the exact same tools, like let's say we both have AI, we're both going to use different stuff, and then the marketplace will decide what's more valuable.
Because I think that I'm thinking about films here. There's loads of films that have got massive budgets and all the best special effects, but if the script is rubbish, the film is rubbish.
Yeah, true.
I'm trying to think of a recent example of that. But lots of the Marvel spin-offs and the Star Wars spin-offs.
Red One, $250 million to put it together. Absolute cack, apparently.
There is a lot of that.
Mm.
There's a lot of that. When I think of like one of my favourite films of all time, The Godfather, or the whole three, I just love them so much. I mean, that's a 1960s, 70s film. It's because there's the power of the characters and the story and the, and there's lots of good films that the script is just so good and the budget's been so low and they've come through because people love stories, don't they? And that's what we've learned on YouTube.
No, I think that's right. Human beings are wired up for stories, aren't they?
Chuds was editing it the other day. You know when he was saying, "Oh, I love how much money did those things make?"
Yes,
and you said about an ice cream factory.
Ice cream factory, yeah.
But we hadn't actually made that video, and I just stopped. And he's got it on camera and he's edited it. Whereas, like, that's a really good YouTube title. That we know that, and it did very well. We made the video like 3 days afterwards.
Yeah.
After that conversation, and that did very well because
we
know that story isn't a story that people want to buy into.
Yeah, that was an idea and a story. It's got nothing to do with AI yet. Yeah. So if it gets completed via AI, then fine, so be it. That's the world we live in. But it's got to come from somewhere. Yeah. I think that's the exciting bit.
I'm using it as much as like Google search these days as well. If I can't find a good enough answer on Google, I'm putting it into ChatGPT.
Yeah. And Google have embedded that in now, though, haven't they? They know.
Yes.
Yeah.
They got their own Gemini, is it? Their own.
It's the top result, isn't it? You can't get away from it.
Yeah, you can't get away from it.
It gives you the answer.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We're using AI. Are you using AI? Are you scared of it? Watching at home? Don't be scared of it. Go with it. You can't fight it. Can't fight the tide.
Farmers, everyone was worried about the tractor. Look up now.
Exactly.
Still here. Still going.
Exactly that. Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. You can leave us a comment as well on Spotify now. You can do comments on Spotify. Did you know that? Yeah, on Spotify. And then you can go in the back end of Spotify. You can see the comments. So leave us a comment on there. Leave us a comment on YouTube.
You can't publicly see it on Spotify, only privately.
I think it's only private. I think.
Did we see on Libsyn, the software we use for this, that Spotify had overtaken Apple, or was it close?
I think it was close, but I'll find out right now.
Spotify have done some good stuff to build Like they're just doing stuff that people like, aren't they?
Yeah. Spotify for creators is unbelievable. I mean,
Spotify playlists are better than Apple playlists.
yeah, I use Apple for podcasts just out of habit now at this point in time.
I'm the same, yeah. I just don't want to have to sign into it. I don't think I have a Spotify account, but until that changes, then I'll probably be in, right?
Yeah. But Spotify for creators is just, game changer.
Why are you saying that?
Because they've basically put everything into one hub. So you can now add video. You can, to the point where I was actually going to have a conversation with you guys today, like you should probably move across to Spotify for creators and move your RSS feed because you can upload video onto Spotify now. You can upload shorts, so it's great for discoverability.
I think we've done that, haven't we, Chance? We're on Spotify.
No, we use Libsyn to
You're
post
on
everything.
Spotify, but you're not. The video's not on Spotify.
But we could do that, couldn't we?
Not through Libsyn.
But we could upload it to Spotify, couldn't we?
Yeah, if you had a Spotify for creators account, but you'd be better off to run it all through Spotify for creators, which is also free.
All right. We'll have to
Bit of a game
put
changer.
that to the board.
Bit of a game changer. Anyway, thank you for listening, watching. We love you. Thank you for your comments and your feedback, etc., etc. See you on the next one. Ta-da!
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching today, gang. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now, look, we're looking for some great businesses to come on the podcast. If you've got challenges, but you're desperate to grow your business and you can't necessarily work out how to do it on your own, you'll be a perfect candidate to come here on the podcast. It's absolutely free to come on the show. Go to my website, jamessinclair.net, and there's a podcast button. Click on the podcast button, fill in the application form, and we'll do our very best to get you on the show and try and grow your business. If you're loving the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking here. And why not give this one a watch? I think you'll like it.